As I was getting ready to talk to all of you, I was just starting to chuckle to myself because I was remembering back to my, what was it, Brownie or Girl Scout days. We had a song, make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other's gold. And it's true, old friends are golden friends. And I'm blessed to have many, but I'm also blessed to have many senior pets in my life. Over the many, many years I've been able to have the privilege of loving them. And senior pets just have so much love to give. There's an acronym, but it basically spells out what you see is what you get with an older dog or cat, because they've already grown into their paws and their personality. You know pretty much, what they're like. They're generally a bit more mellow and calm. You still need to exercise them and keep those legs moving, but you may not need to be as active. They're just content laying by your side, looking up at you adoringly. So there's just so many wonderful things to say about senior pets, and I think you all know that my soft spot is loving and caring for senior pets. So that's what I want to talk to you about a little bit today. I hope some of you have gotten the chance to look at the blog I posted on Tuesday. But canines and humans and felines as well, we all experience some of the same patterns as we age. Graying of the brows and the beard, for one. We want to sleep a little bit more. We want to slow down and take time to smell the roses, although that's a lesson we can learn from our dogs and cats even in their puppyhood and kittenhood, because they do take time to be in the moment. And sometimes I get upset with even my wonderful haiku when we go on a walk, because there's just something so beautiful to see and take in, and he's nose to the ground because that's where he's getting his information, and he's not worrying about what's going to happen an hour from now or 3 days from now. He is just really in the moment, and I know I enjoy my walks. It actually feels so much better and even so much more refreshed after them when I follow his rules, and I'm in the moment and not worrying about what I'm going to do when I get back to the house or later that day, but just really taking in everything along the way at that particular moment in time, because we can never recapture that particular moment. Moments are fleeting, and it's important to literally be present, like we were all told in elementary school when the roll was called, present. And that's something we all need to be. We need to check in with ourselves and with those around us and be present. And that's something we can really, really learn from our pets. Unfortunately, our dogs and cats don't live as long of lives as we do. And boy, that's just one of the toughest things. And the only way I've been able to reconcile myself with that is that it has given me the opportunity to love that many more pets during my lifetime. But each one has left a special set of paw prints on my heart. And it's important, I believe, for everybody. And I'm glad this hasn't been an issue for me, but I never try to replace one. I don't ever look in one for the traits of another. They've all just been their own unique, special beings, and I have felt lucky to have them in my life. Some things I just want to talk to you about, because what I'm doing today actually is I'm very excited. I have recorded a 3-hour senior pet care class, and it's now available, and it takes you on the journey through the autumn and winter of your dog or cat, meaning, those later years. And what I've tried to do, I've tried to make it a little bit fun, because I know some of this can be a bit serious, and some of you may already have the book that it's based on. You don't by any means have to have the book to take the class, but it certainly, helps enhance the learning. But what I've tried to do is I've talked through the voice of a dog or a cat. It's kind of nebulous as to which it is, and I hope everybody will, as they're reading the book, think it's their own brown spotted dog or their tabby cat or whatever you happen to have by your side, and that animal is trying to help you through what they're going through. Obviously, there's some things like genetics that we can't change. Whatever hand of cards your pet was given, by the breed, because there are breed-specific health conditions, and also their parents and what their siblings have had along the line, they might likely face as well. Also, there's just that calendar. The pages keep turning, time goes on, and none of us are getting younger. But there are things we can change Sometimes if it's something we can catch early, might even be able to stop it in tracks, or at least we'll be able to slow down that process. I don't want any of us to think of aging, and this is good for ourselves too, to think of it as a disease. It's just, it's a process, and there comes a point in time where our bodies just don't renew the tissues and don't have as strong of an immune system as they once did, so they're more prone to things not working the way they should and eventually, fading away. But there are so many things we can do with our pets, and pets don't carry the baggage that we do. They don't know that, oh, they've only got, another 6 weeks to live or 3 years to live or whatever it happens to be. They are in that moment, and I think that's one of the greatest gifts we can get from pets, besides just loving them unconditionally like they love us. So I want you to think about those things and really embracing the moments you have with your pets. I'm such an advocate of people adopting seniors, and I know a lot of people just don't want to do it because they feel their heart's going to be broken so much more quickly. And yeah, it might be, but there's nothing as rewarding as giving a pet in his golden years that forever home, whether that forever is 5, 6 years or if that forever is 5 or 6 days. I've told you some stories before that I've gotten weepy about, but about shelter dogs that I know were adopted on the eve of their end, but they, were able to pass away peacefully in a home surrounded by humans who love them in a warm bed. And I can't imagine anything more wonderful. That's why I'm so honored to be part of the Gray Muzzle organization, because our mission is to make sure that no old dog dies alone and afraid. And we're really trying to make that happen by providing grants and financial assistance to shelters and rescues all around the country so that they can do amazing things. Sometimes they're going to get the dog's dental or medical care so that they can get adopted. Other times they provide vouchers so that a senior dog that's already in a home doesn't get relinquished, because sometimes senior pets do have medical issues and everybody doesn't have unlimited funds, so the family often relinquishes the pet to a shelter. And I think that's one of the worst things that can happen to a pet in his older years, to be given up by his family. But some people feel helpless, so through Gray Muzzle grants, many of the shelters and organizations have been able to give vouchers to the family so that the pet can stay in his home and still get the medical care he needs. I heard from one just the other day, one of our grantees. It was so exciting, and it was a very different situation in that somebody had gone the extra mile. They were moving. They found pet-friendly housing. I believe they had 3 dogs. All of them were approved. Everything was going beautifully. But by the time they paid for their first and last month rent in the apartment, they didn't have enough money to pay the pet deposit. So this organization was able to use some of its Gray Muzzle funding to provide that for the family so that the dogs could all stay together with the humans who love them. So, senior pets just mean the world to people, whether you're seniors or whether you're younger and just want to love and adore a senior pet. And there are so many things we can do, but I think one of the biggest lessons I've learned over the years is it's so important to do things so that we don't lose our patience. As much as you love a parent or a pet, when they're getting older, sometimes it creates more work because they have health problems, or they don't make it, to the outdoors to go to the bathroom quick enough, or they dribble during the night. And when we have other things on our list, and house cleaning and work and other people to take care of, it can be tiring, and we can lose our patience when things happen over and over. But that's one of the things I try to do in the course, is to really alert you to some of the things you can do to make your life simpler as well as the pet. Our pets never want to do anything that's going to make us upset. They don't want to create extra work for us. It's just not in their gene pool to come up with these things. That's more of a manipulative human kind of trait, but animals would never want to do that. So, if we think about planning ahead and putting some plastic lining underneath the dog's bed, things like diapers, and sometimes I do worry about with our pets, not even so much their sense of dignity, because I'm not sure if they are embarrassed by them, but any fabric on the pet. If he urinates or defecates, it's going to stay next to his body. And unless it's something you can clean up and change quickly, you're going to be causing skin irritation and other hygiene problems. But there are just so many things we can do. We can add an extra litter box in the house so the cat doesn't have to fly upstairs or to the other side of the house. Because when they get older, it's harder to hold it. Males in particular, when they have prostate issues, I'm talking male dogs and cats, okay? I'm not bringing humans into this part. But their bladder, they never completely empty it. It's always like half full. So they just more frequently have that feeling of urgency that they need to go. So, you know, we may have to come home during work, or we have to get a doggy door to a fenced yard. But there are things we can do and really enhance their lives. In addition to that, in the course, I try to take you through some of the ailments and some of the diseases that might happen and help you to better weather the storm, because it's inevitable that something is going to go wrong. You know, we all dream probably ourselves, and we hope for our pets that just one day they won't wake up, that they will peacefully die in their sleep. And you know what? Sometimes it happens, but unfortunately, it's that rare exception, and we all have to make that decision, and unfortunately, sometimes what we call play God and decide when the time is right. But that's what I am trying to take you through in my book and my course, to really have you tune in and know when the time is right. I was recently talking to a hospice veterinarian, and you know, she's got just a wealth of experience and knowledge, and she was sharing with me how one of her worst moments was when she refused to make that decision for her own dog. None of us want to make it, and you know, you just always think you're being premature, that things are going to turn around, that the animal's going to rally. And sometimes they do, but it's generally just momentarily. We know in our hearts and souls when it's the right time, if we'll just really pay attention to that. But long story short, she had to run out and do an errand. And while she was gone, the dog finally did go on his own. But she can tell it must have been a struggle for him. Not the details, but, you know, just gasping for breath. And it wasn't as peaceful as she could have given it to him had she, you know, provided euthanasia. And I guess that's just what we need to think about, that this is a gift that we can give our pets. It's a humane way to send them on to the next chapter so that they don't struggle. Many a human struggles in their last moments, and we can prevent that from our pets. From happening. But we also need to talk to the family about things ahead of time and make the plans. Don't wait for the last minute. Bring everybody into the conversation, and you know, then make sure you do some kind of memorial or some wonderful celebration of life, because there's still, you're going to still feel that fur go by your leg, or think you hear the bark for months, days, years, probably decades to come, because they will always be part of your heart. But before you even get to that point, I really want to provide you with information on how you can create more wonderful memories together. And sometimes it's just as simple as sitting together. Some people actually make a bucket list for their dog or cat and go off on these wild adventures. You need to do what you and your pet feel is right, but I do want to take you through the journey of the autumn and winter of your pet. So I hope you'll go to my website. You'll see I've been adding a lot of classes. There are a few more being added this summer: bird first aid, rabbit and pocket pet first aid. I've got the disaster preparedness, the senior pet care. I'm not trying to send you to school forever, but I'm just trying to get all of this information that's in my head down so that other people can really learn from it, and in turn their pets can benefit. Because that's what it's all about. That's why I started Sunny Dogging these so many years ago, to help people help their pets, because I simply can't be everywhere, and neither can any of you. So the more we can do to teach each other how to help these wonderful beings, I think it'll just make it a better place. And you know, we don't have to talk about the news or politics or anything that's going on in the world. If we just go to our pets, there's no better therapy and nothing nothing that can put a smile on our face better than they can. So I just want you to think of senior pets. Like I said, everybody thinks puppies and kittens are the cutest things in the world. And there's nothing like getting a little puppy or kitten, loving that puppy breath, those tiny little furry bodies. But, you know, it's kind of like I want to be a grandparent as far as puppies or kittens. I want to enjoy them and then let somebody else take care of them, because I've been there and done that, and I'm kind of more in the frame of mind of wanting to really be around those seniors who have slowed down a little bit, who have melded into their personality, who know their training but still can benefit from little lessons every day. When you go on your walk, when you get to the curb before you cross the street, make your dog sit. I have a great trainer friend, Cindy. I don't know if you're out there today, but her rule is that when a dog turns 13, he no longer has to sit. And I think that's awesome. But what I'm talking about is just keep their minds active. Remind them of their training. When you're out, you know, if they aren't arthritic or don't have hip problems, do make them sit at the curb before you cross. You know, make them in the middle of a walk if you're in a nice park and it's a safe place. Do a down stay and then reward them with a treat. You can even teach them those goofy pet tricks, you know, keeping the biscuit on their nose. Just something to keep the mind active. Exercise is so important, whether you're human, canine, or feline. I always say for cats, I think the best exercise is adopting a second or a third or a fourth cat. They keep each other busy. But of course, there's feather toys and ping pong balls and all kinds of things to keep them active. Our dogs, it's really, really important as well that they get exercise daily. Not only does it keep the weight off, it keeps the joints fluid and the muscles toned so that they can use them. When they're slipping and sliding, they still need that muscle tone to get a good grip. It's pretty much inevitable that the hindquarters are going to get a little weaker, and then they often put a lot of weight on their front legs, whether it's for their water and food bowl or just walking, trying to alleviate some of the pressure. Additionally, the walking nurtures or feeds, I should say, nourishes the brain by getting that good life-giving blood and oxygen there and hopefully warding off cognitive dysfunction. So there are so many benefits by stretching those legs every day. And, you know, it does a human body good. That's one of the things called Zuea, ways good health benefits that pets give us. They make us get our butts off the couch and get out and exercise, because we need to exercise them too. Sometimes we're not motivated without our pets. So all I want to say is, if you have a senior in your home, bless you. Love that pet and be in the moment with him or her, but also create more memories. You have to realize that, you know, some people are so worried about adopting seniors, like I was starting to go to before, because they feel they're not going to have a lot of time with them. Not to be grim here, but none of us ever know how much time we're going to have with each other or with a puppy or a kitten. You know, life happens and it isn't always on plan. And sometimes a senior you adopt, you may end up having for years on end. Mr. Rico, my black lab that a lot of you have heard me talk about before, we adopted him when he was 9, and he lived to be 15 and a half. And granted, that's only 6 years, but somehow those 6 years to me felt like I had him my entire life. So we can learn so much from a dog or a cat, no matter their age, but there is a certain wisdom that comes to a senior pet, and they just always have so very much love to give. So I hope the next time you see a senior, whether he's in your house or somebody else's, you'll give him a special little wink and a belly rub, and know that he knows the secrets to life and may get to go on to the next chapter sooner than we do, but that he still has so much love and kindness and actually therapy to give us all. I hope you guys have an awesome weekend. I know we're not quite there, but do check out my senior pet care class. It'll be about 3 hours of your time, and I think you'll gain a wealth of knowledge in ways that you can really give and increase the quality of life to a senior dog or cat in your life. Also, since I have your attention, today is the last day for the half price on my disaster preparedness course, so graciously being put together by Pet Sitters International. So do check that out as well. But no matter what you do, just be in the moment with an animal by your side and have an awesome day. Catch you next time. Bye-bye for now.